Welcome to the Creating Experience podcast, where we take you behind the scenes of unforgettable events. I'm Emma and I'm joined by my co-host James. Together we bring you years of experience in the event industry. Rolling on a river.
Oh man.
Guess who's back? Back
You actually did it.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's been a minute.
Been a little while.
I looked back and it's 3 months.
3 months.
Whoops. But we're here. We're ready.
We've done some events.
We've done it. I feel
We
like
got married in between that.
Oh my gosh, we've got married.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's another
episode, isn't
event.
it? That's a whole nother podcast episode right
We
there.
could honestly do a rundown of how to put together a wedding,
Yeah.
which we've done
In like a month.
a month. Whew. Anyway, so yes, we've been busy. We've been doing a lot.
Yep.
We're expanding.
Yes.
Um,
What are we
we
talking
did
about
have Port
today?
Macquarie.
Oh,
Yes.
no,
we had Port Macquarie.
Yeah, we just taken that.
Just take No, we hadn't. Oh, surprise! We've got a Port Macquarie office.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So we are expanding. So Central Coast, Newcastle,
Port Mac.
Port Macquarie,
Yep.
and more staff.
Yep.
Yeah. Yay.
All right.
All right, let's talk about what we're
What are we talking about?
today.
Yeah. I was
I'm
gonna
just
say,
going on a
let's get-
tanny.
Yeah.
So we thought we talked about Central Coast Mariners and their grand final win for starters,
And the week that was the
and the
grand
week
final.
that was the grand final win.
Because, yeah, I suppose a bit of background is the grand finals always gone to Sydney purely because of infrastructure and stadium size. So I think it was the week before, or 2 weeks before, once the Sydney FC Central Coast Mariners grand final, semi-final became a thing. I honestly think that's the only reason why the grand final at Industry Group Stadium became a thing, because there was no Sydney being
Yeah.
no chance of Sydney Mariners grand final. So yeah, 3 weeks out, we got wind that there could be a grand final.
Couldn't believe it, because the talk before that was it was absolutely not coming to Industry Group Stadium.
Yeah. And they were going to finish top of the table.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah.
we are meant to have the grand final at Industry
home.
Group. And
Yeah.
we've always been like, how good would it be to have it? Like,
Yeah.
it sucks that it's not. And then it actually
And
happened.
then it was like, the rumour came out and we were like, oh my gosh, this
Yeah.
is so exciting.
Yeah.
But our week was about to get
We already,
busy.
yeah, and we hadn't really planned for it. We had a trailer stage. We had a trailer stage at Blacktown City Council.
Yep.
We had the Broken Wood Graveyard lunch in the Hunter Valley for Prestige Party Hire. And we were looking after the AV there, which is a pretty decent
Big
sized
event.
job. We had another corporate event at Maitland for an opening of a facility. So we already had a number of events scattered throughout that
I
week.
feel like there's something else we were missing. But anyway.
That week we had the ATSA Expo as well. So that
Oh,
weekend was smack
I
bang.
was like, yeah.
we
trying to
had
remember
the
there's something else.
ATSA Sydney that week, which was 4 rooms of AV in Sydney at
ICC?
Olympic Park.
Olympic Park, yeah.
Olympic Park, and then it was going to Brisbane
That's
the
right.
following week. So
I was
we
like,
had it was a
I'm sure there
busy it was a
something
very
else in
busy
there.
it was a very busy period, and then next minute it's like, yeah.
It's a home
Oh,
grand
and then
final.
obviously the A-League semi-final happened the week before. Like there
Yes.
was a bit of stuff involved with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously they won, which was massive, and we already had, there was a few bits and pieces that were starting to get like earmarked the Thursday, Friday the week before.
Which was like, yeah, in stadium.
The stadium audio.
Audio,
So what happens with that obviously is A-League actually have a company that runs sports presentation for all their major events. And
You got blue eye.
oh, do I?
Blue. Phantom.
They have another company that comes in and runs sports presentations. So they were already, they were scoping out the potential venues being Industry Group, Wellington or Melbourne Victory. Quick note, they actually are. They do Melbourne Victory's sports press. So it was made for
interesting.
It made for a fun
very interesting.
Sports press box that day. But so yeah, there was already some things that were starting to get earmarked, but it wasn't really until the Monday, Tuesday of that week that it was
game on.
It was like
we got the call from Central Coast Council that they were doing a live site.
Yep.
It started quite small and ended up quite large.
Yep.
The number of attendees increased.
Yep.
And it went from a small stage with a musician
to a big stage.
And
so here we are spewing the trailer stages.
The trailer stage came out at what? The event finished at 5
o'clock
Sydney,
that afternoon. Yeah.
And came out
mid event. So I was back on the coast by 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
but
the event had started and everything.
But yeah, I suppose if we go from top to bottom, we're going to go through. And then there was then we had the welcome home for Mariners. We're going to go through everything. Yeah, we're going to go through everything top to bottom. So what are we starting with? Stadium audio.
You start with the stadium. What we did inside
the stadium.
Yeah.
So for this game, we were responsible stadium audio as always. So it was ridiculous. It was like 16 channels of wireless mics, and there was eight or 10 IEM packs. We obviously wireless mics responsible for the anthem, the Welcome to Country, which is obviously like you can't stuff that up.
And this is all going to broadcast.
This was all going through to broadcast as well. So we had that bump in. Well, actually, we didn't end up getting to the stadium audio bump in stuff because our week just got pushed till the Saturday, the morning of the job. And yeah, I was lucky enough to be the one operating the audio for that. But yeah, so we had a full day of rehearsals for the stadium audio side of things. And then on top of that, we supplied the rolling stage and the LED screen panels for the presentation stage. So the stage that was used at halftime and then used post-game was our rolling stages with the special pneumatic wheels that Tom lets on the grass. So we looked after for that stuff as well. And so we had a crew of guys. That obviously went in, I think that went in Friday, but then we had rehearsals Saturday. So we had a number of guys tied up with that element inside the stadium. And they obviously had 2 different pieces of content and core flute changeovers and everything. So it was the biggest thing like out of that stuff that we found was space and how quickly, obviously because they had the additional seats down under the palm trees.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of things behind it. Like it was awesome to have it at Industry Group Stadium, but at the same time, I think there was some elements where it showed when you take a look back at it, you can understand why infrastructure wise it's a bit tricky. Like they brought in a lighting company from Melbourne,
and then Foddy were there with all their fireworks, and that was like insane. Next level pyros. So and
it looked awesome on broadcast, but yeah, it was a whole next level experience, but very cool to have it happen in our home stadium. So what else do we supplied the DJ as well for the pre-game element. We had Chris look after that. So that was the stadium audio component.
Yep.
Also, we had the Mariners pre-match function in the marquee out the back. We had some staging, drape, TVs, some additional lighting, and then another technician there as well. So yeah, that was all.
It's safe to say that every single person was working that weekend for us.
Yeah,
all of our staff.
It was a big day. I think we had 20 to 25, 20 people working on various different things throughout the day. So, but that was the stadium audio and stadium stage component. Obviously, the guys had to roll those stages out. Well, obviously at the end of the game, there was the everyone ran on the
pitch.
Field.
Yeah, that was hectic.
So, but it was
it was definitely
crazy, absolutely crazy.
I would
experience.
say once in a lifetime now.
Yeah. So, but so that was the stadium audio side.
So then we got called for the live site. So I worked with Central Coast Council on this event. As I mentioned before, it started as quite a small stage, not much, like I think we're doing one LED screen.
One screen. It was like a little stage with no cover.
No cover, yeah. And then it just kept growing and growing. We ended up doing a bigger stage, a cover with Prestige, wedding and event hire. Then we went from one screen to two screens, which were, what were they? Five by threes.
We literally had, because we had LED screen, like every single piece of LED screen got used that weekend, because we had two screens at the Hunter Valley for the Graveyard.
That's right. I forgot about
Graveyard had two screens there. We had the LED screen on the stage presentations, and then we had the LED screen at the live site. So we haven't yet had to use all the panels, and it was
and it all worked perfectly, which was great.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the pressure I felt having to do a live site, it was anxiety plus, because there's so many people there. They know that our brand, it's us, and
we had backups. Like, we obviously originally teed up to run the OB feed from the truck, and this is something people weren't like. So we had tested an OB feed from the truck at the stadium wirelessly, and
it was working perfectly.
Yeah, well, but we'd been told there was going to be broadcast audio coming down it, so we had two feeds. We had the Channel 10, like a TV antenna Channel 10 feed, and then we were banking on using the stadium feed. And we're sitting there all like pre-game going, we're waiting for audio, and then the truck turned around, the guys go, oh no, we don't have audio here.
It was just
it was purely just the vision feed. So we ended up having to use the Channel 10 feed, which was great. Well, it was funny because at a few points Simon goes, Channel 10's dropping. Channel 10's dropping.
No.
And I got to watch I watched the replay a week and a half later, and the dropouts were actually on Channel 10, so it wasn't our dropout.
Okay, cool. I didn't know about dropouts, so I'm like, I was already stressed enough.
I'm getting messages going, Channel 10 just dropped out. Channel 10 just dropped out. And it was like momentarily, but then I watched the replay a week and a half later, and it was actually the broadcast feed.
Right. Okay.
But yeah.
I'm glad I didn't know that, because I'm just like, well, anyway. Okay, so back to live site. Then we had, so the coverage for, they wanted live music. So the coverage for the live music was too long for one musician. So we upped it to two musicians, split that over a 6-hour period. We also did vision. So we also had, pre-match, we did some player interviews. Star 104.5 hosted that. Then we did some vision of the musicians as well. So we ran cameras. Just one camera. Yes.
I think we had two. We had a wide shot and then a tight shot, but we had one camera.
One camera, yeah. And then, so everything from run sheets of that event with the timings, because pre-match was there's quite a lot happening with those player interviews and Star. We also had MC, so we had Mitch Garling MC that event for us as well. So, and then full stage management. So it was almost like a show call because there was so much happening on it.
And the overall concept was great because it meant that people came, like we obviously were running a couple of hours before gates as well, but people filtered through.
It was so busy. Like I was trying to walk through with one of our musicians at the live site pre-game, and it was so busy, like we couldn't get through. So it was so good with Central Coast Council and Mariners working together as one and really pulling off that live side. It was a huge success. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that.
It's a really cool concept.
Really cool. And because where the live site was located, which was in Leagues Club Park, it's right next door to the stadium. So as people were coming to the game, they were able to just stop in, have something to eat at the live site, listen to some music, and then go into the game and enjoy the game.
Yeah. No, it was good.
Yeah.
So that was the live site. Those two were like massive.
And that was pulling together an event in 6 days.
It was
which we normally could take, a good few months to plan. So
No, it was
good.
very cool experience. And then that night, the live site had to get packed up.
Yeah.
Because we then had the Mariners welcome home party
The
the next morning at Erina Fair. So it wasn't as big as a live site, but obviously due to like where we had gear floating around, that equipment had to come out that night and then roll into Erina Fair 7 o'clock the next morning. But yeah, at Erina Fair then we had 3.5 or 4. I think we ended up doing 4 meter by 2 meter LED screen. That showed some replays and some content, and then we had the PA as well for the players when the players turned up, and some player interviews and stuff like that. It was a pretty straightforward event, but it was just obviously making sure it was done well. I think the big thing there was so much media attention across
everything,
all of those events.
Everything had to be spot on.
You needed to make sure everything happened when it needed to.
And I can't believe it just all...
We slept well Sunday night. But then Monday morning, we were back here turning gear around because the truck was going to Brisbane for ATSA.
Yeah.
So,
So it has been busy, very busy.
But that was grand final week.
The week that was...
Crazy to think how that game played out too. And it was funny because like this is how close we were to obviously like it was Melbourne Victory's game.
Oh yeah.
And because it was 1-0 all the way up to the 90th minute, and we're sitting there in the box, and Noda, who's the show caller, he was a show caller from Max Events, and he goes, I got to the 90th minute, and he's like, okay, stand by Melbourne Victory winning song, stand by stage rollout, stand by this, and like all our guys are like they're ready to go as well. And then the Mariners scored literally 30 seconds later.
So crazy.
And he just goes, cancel all that. But it was
crazy game.
It was incredible scenes, and just topped off obviously with everyone running on the pitch at the end.
Oh yeah.
And it could have gone south. Like I think,
but everyone was so respectful.
The fans were
and like Jimmy Love was the MC, as he is every game, and his beautiful voice telling everyone, "Now exit, please exit, so we can continue on." And everyone did.
Yeah,
it
13 minutes.
So respectful, and makes you proud to be a Central Coast Mariners fan.
Yeah, it was awesome experience. So, and one that I think we've got to lap it up because I honestly don't think the grand final will get played at Industry again. But I think it's great that we've had the opportunity to have it happen
and showcase what we can do.
And showcase the coast. I think that's the biggest thing is the showcase, like the shots of the Central Coast.
And people love those palm trees.
They do.
They just love the palm trees.
It's a shame they didn't uplight them for the grand final, but that's different.
Oh my God. Lighting snob. Anyway, the source models couldn't go up either, so.
No, they couldn't. No. So. But anyway, that was it.
All
the
right,
week it was the grand final.
We're still here, living.
Yep. We'll catch you next time.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks for checking out the Creating Experience podcast. You can find the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as YouTube. Be sure to check out our socials as well. We're on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn as well. And if you have an event coming up that you need assistance on, feel free to head to our website, www.jcentertainment.com.au, or give us a call on 1-800-JC Events.